So, Governor, can you talk a little bit about this tax plan? Obviously, you got a little bit of pushback here, but you really believe in this tax plan. This is something that's critically important. You've said over and over, you don't need it. But some residents raised some interesting questions about the tax plan and the fact that why not put the money in infrastructure? Why not put the money in schools? Can you kind of articulate that? That wasn't really something that you fully addressed in this town hall. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, to be perfectly honest, we are putting unbelievable money in infrastructure, and we have put unbelievable money in our schools, and we want to continue to do so. I mean, in my first State of the State address and everything, I said, we've got to make education our centerpiece. Well, the reason I said that was because we needed to get on a pathway in West Virginia of changing our image. You know, we don't need to be that state that's dark and dingy and poor and backward and all that. You know, we didn't need to be the state where you had to kill a deer every day to feed the kids at school, you know, and literally we needed to get on a pathway of making real improvements in education. We did so. And we've got lots more to do, no question. As far as our highways, we passed the Roads to Prosperity thing that ignited our economy and really got us off and going in a great way. And we've done lots and lots of good work, and there's still more to do, but our roads in this state are getting in great shape, and we want them to be better. But the real thing about the tax plan is just this, is I'm a real believer, put the money into people's hands, put the money into people's pockets, the hardworking, average, everyday people, and then let them determine what they want to do with their money. It becomes an incentive program like nobody's business for the state of West Virginia. $1 billion in the hands of the people, they'll spend it. The multiplier effect of those dollars is very significant. And from the standpoint of the outside world, seeing what's going on in West Virginia, it'll drive real growth to us. And so well, all you got to do is look at a tax publication of any kind. The states that are growing twice as fast as the other 41 states are the 9 states that don't have an income tax and everything. It's just as simple as just that. And the other thing is, all the population has to go through us to get to one of those states. I mean, I hate to say this, but who wants to live in South Dakota? I mean, for crying out loud, they have no income tax. Wyoming has no income tax. They're growing. You may say, well, they have wonderful ski facilities and everything, or maybe they have a great summertime, you know, where people are trout fishing and so on. But look at the seasons that we have here.
So you're confident that if you get this tax cut through, which, as you mentioned, the state Senate has not gotten on board yet, but you're confident that this will grow West Virginia, that you'll see people, you see this as a residential boondoggle and they'll come here?
Without any question. It's got the greatest seasons on the planet. It's got great people. The people of West Virginia are appreciative, loving, low crime, good craftsmen, good people and everything. Without any question, the 4 seasons are spectacular beyond belief, and without any doubt, it will grow population in West Virginia. Think about the world publications on tourism today that are saying West Virginia is the destination, top 2 in the world, of a place to come and have a vacation and visit. Absolutely, we are the diamond in the rough that a lot of people missed, and without any question, now we have grown our state, we've turned our whole state around, we've absolutely repaired almost every road that you could possibly repair, and with all that being said, now is the time for us to take another step forward into trying to get rid of our...
So would you be willing to negotiate this tax deal? I mean, I know some people out here mentioned 30%, 25%. Is 50% your bottom line and your final...
Of course it's not. You know, from how we got to 50% was the Senate, of all things. You know, the House, we want to go as big as we can possibly go and still be really conservative. But at the end of the day, if we just get on a pathway, a substantial pathway to reducing our income tax, I would compromise in a second. You know, in addition to that and everything, if we want to lengthen it out, you know, instead of doing it all in 3 years, do it in 5 years. There's all kinds of different things you could do and everything. We just got to be reasonable and get to the table. The reason the Senate's not coming to the table, I mean, let's just be honest as I know we can possibly be. they're still retrading Amendment 2. They lost in Amendment 2. They lost big time in Amendment 2. And, the leadership is holding up the vote and everything. We need to get over that. The people spoke.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the people speaking here, you heard a lot from residents today.
Sure.
And I know that you've had other meetings other town halls where it's been easy peasy for you. What did you learn today from the residents who spoke to you?
I learned exactly what I expected, when we came here and everything. And that is the Eastern Panhandle is flourishing. And when you flourish, in many ways, prosperity can become a hindrance too, if you don't watch out, because it changes your standard of life. You have traffic congestion and on and on and on. And you have challenges and everything. We expected that from the standpoint of there are teachers here right across bordering states that are taking them away because they're paying significantly more. You could even live here, drive to a school in Virginia or Maryland, and get a significantly higher wage. And so there's challenges here that a lot of parts of West Virginia don't have. And that's why it's naturally easier, in another place. But that's why I love to come here, because you hear a lot of good ideas, you address those challenges, and you try to move forward.
Wouldn't it be a better approach, and I'm just asking this question based on what I heard today, is looking at a plan that will improve and bolster education and infrastructure along with something that would give people money back in their pockets, as you so rightfully believe in? Wouldn't that work as well, where some of these people that talked about the fact that, in terms of healthcare, in terms of education, in terms of where the state ranks, is that something that you'd consider as a way to get this over the finish line?
Absolutely. This can be a combination of both. I mean, this situation is so easy to think, the waitress comes up and says, how do you like your eggs, fried or scrambled? And you say, yes. At the end of the day, we absolutely want to do both. We don't want to leave education or leave our roads in order to be able to do a tax cut, a personal income tax cut. We don't want to do that. I mean, for crying out loud, we want to continue to progress our roads, continue to progress education, but it's got to get through the House and the Senate as well as me. At the end of the day, we can hypothetically say, well, let's raise teachers' pay raises, let's double their pay and everything. Well, I can't get that passed. There's no way I can get that passed. And so what I've done is I've done 5% pay raises 3 times, and now I'm proposing the 4th. Well, no other governor's done that. And I've changed all kinds of things within education. We used to grade our schools, believe it or not, A through F, on a bell curve. Well, we had some A's, some F's, and most of them were C's. So what are we going to do? Tell the world, come to West Virginia, we've got mostly C schools. Well, we don't want that and everything. So we changed a lot of things, and we continue to do just that.
Don't you need A schools or B schools
in
order to draw people?
Sure. We need a ton of A and B schools. That's where we want all of our schools to be. But we don't want most of our schools to be C's. That's the last thing we want. Listen, I'm a coach. I'm a coach. I have coached, at all levels. Little teeny kids, semi-pro kids. I have coached at all different levels. I'm a high school basketball coach at the highest level of public school you can be right now. And to do that with your spare time, it's tough. It's plenty tough. I love the kids. I want nothing but goodness for the kids. That's all there is to it. Nobody could want more for the kids than me.
Yeah. Other critics have talked about the fact that there have been lots of state positions that have gone unfulfilled. In a lot of states, Maryland being one of those states now with the new governor, talking about the fact that so many jobs have gone unfilled that there have been pockets of problems that this new governor has inherited, and he's looking to invest in many of these jobs. Why not bring back and use some of the surplus money to do the same?
Well, we're doing that. We're doing exactly that. We're raising the corrections salaries substantially, raising the DHHR folks, and child protective care substantially. Absolutely, we're doing exactly what you're saying. But the reality, again, is real simple, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of folks competing for people that are trying to, for people to employ. And any industry, any place is a struggle. And from the standpoint
of finding workers.
Finding workers, no question, it is a big time struggle. That's why this plan, to me, brings people to the state of West Virginia. We've got to grow people in West Virginia to be able to fill the jobs. And with all that being said, I mean, first of all, on the government level, many positions are not handsomely paid. And it's been that way for a long, long time. Now we can substantially increase, but the private sector is oftentimes paying a lot more dollars. And so therefore, if you don't have enough people, you're really swimming upstream.
Yeah. Let's switch gears a little bit off the tax plan to just your future. There's a lot of talk about perhaps you running for the Senate against Joe Manchin. What are your thoughts there? Are you seriously considering a run? And if you are, why?
Well, I am seriously considering it, and I guess the bottom line to the whole thing involves one thing, and it's just like I said today. I don't want anything. I don't want anything. I'm not a politician that's looking for the next perk or the next status or whatever. I've got plenty of that in my life. And literally, at the end of the day, I am really hung up, believe it or not, and it doesn't really matter to me if you believe it or not, because I know our forefathers served. They gave up a lot of what they had, their farms and whatever it may be, to serve. Now, you hear this all the time, but you don't hear this from Jim Justice. Jim Justice is hell-bent on just that. I don't want anything. And literally, I really feel like that our government is in semi-danger today. I think a lot of the things that we're doing are not very wise. And more than anything, what I think we're doing at Washington is it's a one-up deal, nonstop. It's a Republican against Democrat, nonstop. I've said over and over and over, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. I never do care. I care first and foremost about West Virginians being West Virginians or Americans being Americans. I mean, if we don't watch out, I remember just like it was yesterday, the Soviet Union was running like crazy. Jimmy Carter was in office. We were boycotting the Olympics. We had interest rates through the roof, inflation through the roof, 100 hostages in Iran. We gave away the Panama Canal. We boycotted the Olympics. I mean, there were so many different things going on. It was unbelievable. And literally, just in a matter of just a very short number of years, with the Soviet Union, they had just invaded Afghanistan and everything. They were so powerful, it was unbelievable, and it was gone. It was just gone. What could happen to us? And really and truly, from that standpoint, and that standpoint alone, all I am saying to you is one thing: patriot. That's the only reason that I would run for Senate. The only reason in the world, because I truly believe that I can make a difference, and I truly believe my heart is dead in the right spot.
Is Senator Manchin, is he not doing a good job? I mean, he's a conservative Democrat, as you were at one point in your career. Is he not doing a good job? Or what would you do differently if you were in that role?
Well, let me just say this. I don't even know if Senator Manchin will run. My belief wholeheartedly is the imbalance of where we are in the nation today. I am not in any way, nor can I possibly be, an advocate of what's going on with the Biden administration. That to me is the downfall.
Such as?
Senator, I'm sorry?
Such as? What you said?
Well, just what I've already just said. I mean, look what we did in Afghanistan. Look what we're doing with inflation. Look what we're doing at the border. Look what we're doing with energy. I mean, for crying out loud, it is a disaster in so many different ways. And if we don't watch out, disaster can come to the entire nation. And so from my standpoint, I think that boat's going in the wrong direction. From Senator Manchin's standpoint, Joe and I have been friends. We've been semi-enemies. But at the same time, I'm respectful of both of our senators and everything. I don't have any idea if Joe would run. There's no point in me debating Joe, right now.
Well, if he runs, does that change the calculus of whether you'll run?
No, of course not. No. I mean, I believe wholeheartedly that tomorrow if I run and Joe Manchin is running, I'm the senator. I believe that with all in me, and I don't believe that just frivolously. I believe that wholeheartedly. I don't know if Joe's going to run, but time will tell.
It sounds like to me you're running.
Well, to be perfectly honest, here's another thing. You grow older, and the things that you really love to do, like I love to chase after a bird dog and up and down these mountains like crazy, or be on a stream fly fishing. That's what I love to do more than anything. Well, now, with your knees all broke up and everything, and you get older and everything, it's harder to do. But in this, I do love our people, and I do love America, and I've done a pretty good job at what I'm doing right now. And so from that standpoint, it seems like this is what I ought to do, and at the end of the day, at your age, you're not going to be able to do just everything in the world you did when you were much younger. And you've been the beneficiary of many, many, many good things that the good Lord has given you through your life and everything. And so why not absolutely always try to give back, especially now?
Does this tax cut give you a campaign issue going right into that race? Is that a calculus in your mindset?
It may, but I really don't. I don't need that. I mean, for crying out loud, I don't say this egotistically, but when I walked in this door as your governor, our state was DOA, and since that time, all the different things that we've done. I mean, whether it be exploding tourism, whether it be absolutely the roads and everything we've done there, how we handled the pandemic. What we're doing for the veterans, what we've done for the elderly and everything, what we're doing with the schools. I mean, so many different things. I don't need another one, something else to run on. That's for sure. I just do really believe that the tax cut is the way to go.
Yeah. I wanted to get to, this was fascinating to be about your governorship.
Wait just one second. Can you stop just one second?
Sure.
We got to wake baby dog up. My gosh, she's laying here snoring.
I was going to try and sneak over here and get her.
Baby dog, you got to wake up.
I think I made baby dog comfortable.
I mean, you're look at her with her little tongue out. She always has her tongue out when she sleeps. Baby dog,
right?
Baby dog, turn around here. Turn around, baby.
Oh my God.
Look at you, laying there snoring while this is going on.
Love it. How did you come up with the name Baby Doll?
Well, I tell you, this is really an interesting deal. But our grandson, 2 years old, December the 7th, and everything, Christmas Eve, and my son and daughter just hand me this English bulldog puppy, and I said, "Holy cow!" Because I know what she's going to grow into. And she would be walking around the floor all over the place, and this little baby grandson, 2 years old, kept walking around saying, "Where'd that baby dog go?" And so it stuck. That's her name.
Fascinating. Switching gears, I was always fascinated with people who switch. I'm always fascinated with people who switch parties. Right. And you came in as a conservative Democrat. From what I understand, you used to be a Republican, then went over to the conservative Democratic side, and then switched to Republican. Talk to me about why you made that switch.
Well, to be perfectly honest, once I got there, of course, my family had been Republican their entire life, and I had too, and so with all that being said, when I got there, all I was wanting to do, in fact, almost the very first day, I went up and met with the Republicans and said, "Listen, I want you to realize something loud and clear. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat." Right off the get-go, I told everybody that. But then what happened was just a very unique thing. We needed to get a budget passed, and we worked really hard to do that. And I give the House so much credit because at that time, Speaker Armstead, Tim Armstead, who's now a Supreme Court judge, in the state and everything, he was the Speaker of the House. And I was proposing all kinds of different things and everything, ways to get us out of this hole that was a hole like nobody's business. Well, he came to me and he said, Governor, I've got you 26 votes and I'm one of them and everything. He said, now you got to get the rest. There was 36 Democrats. So I went right to the Democratic caucus and I said, we're there. We're there for sure. And we got a lot of good things that the Democratic caucus is happy with and the other side's happy with. Okay, we're done. And this was regular session plus an extended session, and we were in like the 26th day of an extended session. Now, so I say, guys, we're done. I felt like there was one Democrat that we weren't going to get to vote. And literally 2 hours later, Tim Armstead called me on the phone and said, Tim Miley, who was a minority leader at the time, said he's got me 3 votes. And Armstead was really upset. And at that point in time, I said, look, there's no way that I'm going to go forward with this kind of nonsense. I'm not going to do that. Deep down inside, I have all the conservative values. My family grew up Republican. I believe in that and everything. I am not going to ride a train along that absolutely, is just, again, back double, triple bent on throwing rocks back and forth. I'm not going to do that. It was a great decision. At the time, President Trump was our president, and I went straight. I talked to my family. Then I went straight to the Oval Office. I talked to the President of the United States, and then off and running I went and everything. I'm very glad that I did it.
I remember that Trump aspect, and I wanted to ask you about that as well, if there are any regrets in that regard. Given all of the controversy surrounding the former president, did you have any regrets on tying yourself to him, particularly when you first made that switch?
No, not at all, because I thought President Trump did a great job as a president. Now President Trump, and is flamboyant. That's for dadgum sure, and he can get out from time to time, and maybe a little over his skis or whatever it may be, that maybe some people think. But literally and truly, I mean this with all my soul, is no way for me to dispute his successes. There's no way to not agree that the man did so much good, it was unbelievable. And compared to where we are right now and what we're doing, there's no comparison whatsoever. I am a friend with the Trump family. I'll be that till I die, and nobody's going to take that away from me.
What's your time frame on deciding whether you're going to run for the Senate?
Very soon, 30 days or less.
30 days or less.
30 days or less. And to be perfectly honest, I would not sit around and tease people. I don't think they deserve that. I mean, the people of West Virginia have honored me beyond belief in so many ways, and I'm not going to sit around and play games with them at all.
You jumping in the race, if you decide to do that, do you think it'll push Manchin out?
I don't think that. I think Joe will make his own decisions. He'll be a very formidable candidate no matter what, without any question. It'll be an expensive race and everything, without any question. And but Joe, I think, has aspirations right now of the possibility of a presidential type run. I don't know if that will happen. There may be a possibility that Joe decides he's done a lot and everything, and he's going to go ahead and retire. But whatever Joe decides, I think at the end of the day, I do believe that he'll migrate back and probably run for Senate and everything. And it'll be an interesting race and everything.
That'll create a showdown, but you seem very confident that you'll beat him. Why are you so confident?
Well, because, and I don't say this egotistically, but the people of West Virginia love me. And the reason they do is because they know I love them. They know really I've told them the truth. And, and I'll love them till the day I die, irregardless, one way or the other. And so I think it'll be interesting anyway.